Was involved in the murder?
He watched it, and he didn't do anything, and so he abused her that night. So, yes, he was involved.
How many people were there?
I still don't know for sure, but around 8.
Nihul, Dutroux,
and a lot of others. So, but everybody except Dutroux is free.
Nihul denied it, but her testimony was dynamite. If true, it meant Dutroux and Nihul were linked with another murder. But then, out of the blue, the investigation was stopped.
We received a message that we couldn't investigate anymore, just like that. We were sent home. Just like that. Without an explanation. Because our work hasn't been done all right. Very strange.
Why were you taken off this case?
I wish I knew. Perhaps we were touching something we couldn't touch. Some people say this, we didn't have to prove at that moment to say things like that. But perhaps we were coming closer to some things, yeah, perhaps.
Like what things?
I don't know, something Belgium or the world shouldn't know about.
Patrick de Batz, the head of Hosken's team, had been one of Belgium's most respected police investigators. It was he who'd taken Regina's testimony. Now he too was sent home, accused of manipulating her evidence.
Patrick de Batz, who questioned her, was accused of planting some of the information so that she would reproduce it. You watched that investigation. Was that true?
No, no way. No way. But we even had some magistrates, judges, and superior gendarmerie officers watching how we interviewed, and they watched it from the first to the last moment. And if we haven't done it right at that time, they should have said us, don't work that way, but they didn't tell us anything.
For de Batz and his colleagues, charged with manipulating an inquiry, a Kafkaesque battle now began to clear their names. They were suspended, and Regina Louf got a call from a member of the new team assigned in their place. His motive was clear.
He said, well, we have to search for mistakes you made now. And you have to prove now that you are right. And I said, no, I don't have to prove that I'm right. You have to investigate if I'm right or not. I'm not a police officer. I can do house search and I can't interrogate my abusers. You have to do that. I just can tell my story and make testimony. That's all I can do. And he said, wrong. You have to prove it.
News about Regina's story began to leak out. When the media took it up, it was to destroy her.
X1 et ses fantasmes, une enquête au-delà du réel. Madame, Monsieur, bonsoir. L'affaire Dutroux s'est enrichie de...
The flagship programme of the government-funded French language channel was unequivocal. De Batz was guilty, they declared, and Regina Louf a sinister and deranged liar.
I think Regina Louf is a pathological liar. She's a woman who's invented scenarios that don't stand up to scrutiny. It's all been shown to be fiction.
Well, no, not according to the investigators who were sacked. They don't agree with you. They say they weren't even allowed to investigate.
No, that's not accurate. I continue to believe these men did not do their jobs properly, and that they let the public think that what Regina Louf and the other anonymous witnesses said was partly true. That's all a tissue of lies. Stories verging on the pornographic. They make no sense.
Weren't you manipulated? I mean, people have said she was completely mad. She invented the whole thing.
But some people, yeah, some people say this, but they weren't there. We lived all the testimonies. we've seen them, we did the investigations, so for ourselves we know what should have been right or could have been wrong. But when you haven't lived it, when you haven't seen everything, you can't give an opinion on this. It's impossible. But we found some things that should have been investigated more.
I'm married for 13 years. I have 4 children. I live a normal life. I have a business of my own. So I'm not crazy. We are labeled as crazy. We have a stigma. We are stigmatized as crazy persons because we had the courage to talk about things that happened in our past with persons who played a role in the Belgian economy or politics or something like that. It was easier to make us crazy than to believe us.
Despite its earlier investigating zeal, Belgium's parliament now stood by as Regina Louf's testimony was declared worthless. The judiciary announced it would not be used in any trial. And that might have been the end of it had the files of the entire Dutroux investigation not been leaked. Marie-Jeanne van Heeswijk and 2 other investigative journalists had access to every witness statement, every police report in the Dutroux affair. Their book on Belgium's X-Files shook the country.
How did you get the information for the book?
We had the opportunity to see the whole police file on the affair, and the problem is that we wanted to be sure that there was no manipulation behind that, because it's always possible. So we decided to meet a lot of people who were named in the files, who were witnesses in the file, and we met those people without saying that what we knew already, and we listened to their story.
They found the new team had rewritten Regina Louf's original statements. Testimony had been changed.
We began to check it, and we began to read again all the questioning of Regina Louf to see how they did that, they rewrite that. And one by one, we discovered that gendarme colleagues of the Bats had pretended that the Bats manipulated the investigation. So everybody was tricked.
To this day, no evidence has ever been produced to support the allegations against de Bats. Yet he continues to be accused. I met him and his colleague in a Brussels cafe. Their careers are in ruins, and the investigation into Regina's story is dead. And yet 2 separate inquiries cleared them of every charge that they manipulated her testimony.
The inquiry.
Yes, I show you the final report of the internal inquiry of the gendarmerie. It was made 26 June 2000.
So what does this mean?
I'm not a bad policeman.
But now that's cleared you, you face new charges, new allegations, new accusations against you.
I'm not afraid of that. Because I know the conclusions will be the same.
But why this constant barrage of accusations?
I don't know. I can imagination things, but I can't explain them.
For 6 years, the parents of the murdered girls have grappled with the inexplicable. Why were their daughters left to die? Why has Dutroux never come to trial? And why has every lead that might have revealed a network behind Dutroux been blocked or ignored? But Belgium's lost interest in their struggle. Today, anyone who talks of a network, even the parents, is dismissed as deranged.
I talked in press about children who were raped and so on. And they started again with saying that I'm a little bit foolish and that I'm fantasizing. I'm sure that in several years, everyone will believe that networks will exist. Then they have to accept.
Since Marc Dutroux's arrest, anyone who's questioned the official line has been attacked. Every lead that might have widened the net has hit the buffers. Dutroux, meanwhile, has sat in jail, but outside, in the shadowy circles in which he moved, potential witnesses in the Dutroux affair have died in strange ways. A police informer with links to the Charleroi underworld, José Steppe, told a journalist he had explosive information on Dutroux. 2 days before they were due to meet, he died. His family believes he was poisoned. Jean-Paul Taminot was up to his neck in the Charleroi underworld of stolen cars and prostitution. He was summoned to see the Charleroi police and disappeared. The day of Dutroux's arrest, his foot was fished out of the canal.
It's quite a coincidence that they died just before they want to testify, you know? That's strange.
Social worker Gina Pardens worked with abused children. She'd identified the paedophile members of a pornography ring who'd threatened her. When she reported the threats to the police, she was killed in an unexplained car crash. Francois Raiskens told a friend he'd seen one of the missing girls, Melissa, alive in Holland. Before he could tell the police, his body was found crushed on the railway line. Some 20 people, all potential witnesses in the Dutroux affair, have died in mysterious circumstances.
I survived it all. I don't know why, but I survived my abuses, I survived my testimony just because I said it all. Why kill me now, you know? I'm mad.
An uneasy peace has returned to Belgium. The streets are calm. The danger of insurrection has passed. The paedophile networks persist. Sometimes there are even arrests. Earlier this year, 19 men from one village were charged with child rape. But the Dutroux affair has paralysed Belgium's judiciary. After 6 years in jail, there is still no date for his trial. When it comes, it'll satisfy no one.
The trial of Dutroux, it will be a theatre, a circus. And I don't want to be part of the circus. The truth is that there is a network and that they have to search for that network so that you can save other children in the future.
In this country, we will never get to the truth. There is just too much truth that needs to be exposed. I'm certain that the people want to understand. They're capable of understanding a lot more than the politicians and judiciary want to tell them. They treat the public like children.
I did what I could do. I testified. I spoke up to the police, to the judges. I spoke up to the press. You know, I yelled it out. But what can I do anymore now? I can't.
Children continue to go missing in Belgium. Dutroux's arrest has made no difference. Last year it was more than 2,000. 52 of those cases remain unsolved.
Olenka Frenkiel is live online now. Express your opinions and email her your questions at www.bbc.co.uk/correspondent. Next week, the murkiest depths of French corruption. A dead body floating off the coast of Taiwan leads to a trail of sex, intrigue, and missing millions.